you're playing Cronulla this week, so let's move on to them. Billy Burns has gone to the Sharkies, but Wade Graham's retired. Matt Moylan's in England, and Connor Tracy's gone to Canterbury. Now, I actually had a chat with Nico Hines on the radio last week, and he pointed out this is pretty much the third year in succession where the Cronulla team is largely unchanged.
Yeah.
They are a very settled combination. They get, of course, Cade Dykes, who was written off last year because of that knee injury. So he's a new player in some respects, but they are a very settled combination. They struggled towards the back part of last year, and there were a lot of games that they probably should have won that they didn't. They couldn't beat the better credentialed teams. What makes you think they could potentially go better this year?
Well, I think they've been terrific. I mean, they've probably, for me, finished exactly where you would hope they'd finish as a club. I think they've done a really good job. I know it gets disappointing at the back end of the year. You get your hopes up, but the other sides, they just haven't quite handled their finals campaigns as well as they would like. But it takes years sometimes to do that. You know, you've got to go there 3 or 4 times and then bring some other people in and start to feel comfortable in those games, in those big games. As you say, the combinations are settled. The roster is very, very settled. They've now had a lot of time playing together. I think that Braden Trindle showed yet again in the All-Stars game that he's going to be an NRL half and playmaker. I think he was man of the match in that game, wasn't he?
Good defender, isn't he?
He is a good defender. He's been a good player for a number of years. I watched Braden for a number of years, and I think now's the time. They've lost Matt Moylan during the off-season, but Matt was sort of getting to the end of it. Wade Graham, as you know, is retired. Connor Tracy, there was too many other players in his positions in the club. It was hard for him to play NRL, and they really didn't want to lose him. But it sort of got to the point where if he was playing at the Sharks, he's still going to be battling for an NRL game. He's come to the Bulldogs in the hope of playing more NRL football, and he's a very, very good pickup. But
he's an NRL player every day.
Yeah, they've got those positions covered. He plays reserve. He plays with Newtown their feeder club. In reserve grade, and he's by far the best player in that competition. Yeah. He's just too good for them, and he's a genuine first grader. And when he filled in at first grade last year, remember they were struggling, and he came in and played fullback. Young Kennedy was out injured, and he went enormous, you know. But everyone fit and well, and we know what their outside backs are like, and he just struggled to get some time in the top grade, and he's getting to the point in his career where he's got to earn the money and he's got to play his football, and they realised that. We actually traded one of our promising young players. To make that deal happen, Michael Gabriel. I think he's an outstanding young talent, and he will do very, very well for the Sharks. But where we were in our cycle and where the Sharks were in their cycle, we needed Connor Tracy. Sharks have picked up a great kid in Michael Gabriel, and I'm cheering for him as well. But Connor Tracy's had a couple of little niggles during the off-season, but he'll be right for round 1.
So if they've tanked in the finals the last 2 years with this same team, why can they do better this year?
But that's the experience part of it. That's what you want. That's the experience part. That steals you and gets you better. And
will they make the finals?
I think they make the finals, yes. I really do.
They've got to beat the better teams, don't they?
Well, they've all got to beat the better teams.
But they've had a problem the last 2 years in beating the better teams.
Yeah, at the moment, the better teams are just too good.
Yeah.
That's the issue. The better teams are too good, but the better teams are going to have to shed some players. Already the Broncos and Panthers have had to shed some players. They can't keep shedding players and stay at the same level. It's and if the Sharks can keep building and keep this squad together, and I believe, whilst there's been a lot of speculation about the future of Hammy and Uwelli, I believe he's knocked back an offer to go to the Warriors and going to stay with the Sharks, which would be huge news for them into the future because he's a really good player.
Gee, they snuck under the radar with Fanua Blake, didn't they?
With Adden, yeah.
The Sharks, what?
Yeah, I think the Red V thought they had him.
All right, so you're saying 8 again for Cronulla?
I think so. Yeah.
Up Cronulla.
Yeah, I think so. They've got points in them, and they've got that brilliant outside backs, and their forwards are good workers. It's just a nice combination for a team. They probably, it'd be unfair to say they haven't got a star factor because they do. They've got a Nico Hines, and I really rate young Kennedy. They've got the work ethic. To me, it's just probably confidence, just breaking, whether that ceiling they've got at the moment is self-imposed on a confidence or belief factor or, maybe the top sides are just too good
Yeah.
You know, they're hard to beat, the other sides. They're really great football teams in any era. Panthers might be the greatest of all time. So that's the era that they're playing in at the moment. But
I feel like they need a little bit of zip off the bench, the Sharks. Well, they have that big forward rotation, and they're a very formidable pack, but it just seems they might lack a real dasher off the bench or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anything happens to one of their outside backs, they're crucial to them. Their two centres, their two wingers, and their fullback are crucial to them. You know, and I think Braden Trindle now, given the reins at 6, will prove to be a winner. And Nico, with more experience under his belt again in leading this team around, he's still in the learning phase. Nico, he's going to get better. Yeah, I really rate the Sharks. I like them.